Hello and welcome to a Y Media exclusive interview. I'm your host, Ramona Singh, and joining me today is the Brampton South NDP candidate, Andrea Barrett. How are you today?
I'm good, Ramona. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for joining us here in studio.
Happy to be here.
Well, tell us about yourself. Who is Andrea Barrett when she's not a political candidate?
Who is Andrea Barrett? I am a nutritionist, so I work with people who have type 2 diabetes. My mom has type 2 diabetes and my grandmother had type 2 diabetes. So I teach people how to balance their blood sugar and live long, healthy, successful lives. Health and wellness is important to me. I'm also a small business owner. My family grew up right here in Brampton and my business is based right here in Brampton. I work with small businesses to help them become more successful and thrive and navigate the system, how to apply for grants and loans and how to be successful in what they're doing.
Well, this is the first time you're a candidate. So what have you learned being a candidate and what was unexpected to you?
I've learned a lot. So yes, I am a political newcomer, I guess you can say, which means I don't have any bad habits or any baggage. I think it's important that when we look at our politicians and our government, that we get new people, new ideas, and a fresh perspective. I think of myself as a regular Bramptonian who takes care of my family and wants to take care of my community. So I have a lot of ideas and energy and inspiration that I want to bring to Queen's Park. So as we're going door to door, which I really enjoy, it's a great way to meet all of the neighbors that I engage with in Brampton. These are the same people that, we go to the same grocery stores, we go to the same restaurants, we worship together. So it's been a great opportunity to go and knock on everyone's door and find out more about them. The thing that stands out to me about door knocking is that everyone is really engaged. They're concerned about a lot of issues. So Brampton has a lot of issues right now. We know our car insurance is way too high. We're suffering from postal code discrimination. I drive. I'm sure you drive.
I do.
All of our Bramptonians who are drivers know that because of postal code discrimination, we are paying way too much in car insurance compared to other cities. I'm also hearing a lot about education. Families are concerned about their kids and their education and senior care. I had the opportunity to grow up with my grandmother. So I come from a large family and my grandmother also lived with us and we took care of her. So as she aged, we had a PSW come into the home and help her with any of her needs. When I'm talking to people at the door, they're concerned for their aging parents and their aging grandparents. They want to make sure we have a great healthcare system that will take care of everybody when they need it. So that is something that's important to the residents of Brampton, and it's also something that's important to me.
How will life change in Brampton if an NDP government's elected come June 2nd?
Life will change for the better. If you are a Bramptonian and you vote for an NDP government, if you vote for me to be your MPP in Brampton South, life will only get better. A few things. You're going to save money. As I mentioned, car insurance is very expensive. So the NDP plans to cut car insurance by 40%. That puts about $2,000 back in your pocket. For everyone else in the province, it's about $660. But for us, Bramptonians, that is almost $2,000 back in your pocket. So that's step one. And then we're going to look at gridlock and traffic. So if you're like me and you're driving around Brampton, you know Highway 410 and Queen Street and Kennedy are pretty busy streets. We are reducing the toll on Highway 407 to $0. $0. So if you're a trucker, or you have a transport company, we're moving you to the 407 for free. You will pay nothing. That will alleviate some of the traffic for Ramona and I when we're driving on the 410 and the 400 series highways, taking our families back and forth. So we're saving you time. We're saving our truckers thousands of dollars because we know the trucking industry is essential to Brampton. We are strong proponents and we contribute to the economy, and it also will alleviate gridlock for everyone else. And then when it comes to home care and senior care, that's something people will see right away. We want to make sure your parents and your grandparents are taken care of at home. We have seen what happened in long-term care over the last 4 years. We know that over 4,000 people died in long-term care homes. That can never happen again. Because of all the cuts through the Liberal government and the Ford government, we can never let this happen again. So the NDP, we will be reinvesting into healthcare. We need 2 full-service hospitals. Ramona, you know we only have 1. We need 2. Brampton is growing. We are a big, wonderful city with almost 700,000 people. So it's important that we have healthcare for the kids, babies being born, for kids going to the hospital, for our parents and our seniors. We need better healthcare. So that's some of the great things in store with an NDP government.
Talk to me about education, because that's been a big part of these election platforms with, specifically I think between the Liberals and the NDP, who are talking about all the investments they want to do for education. How do you differentiate between the Liberals?
Education is key. Absolutely one of the things we need to invest in. And speaking of education, I'm very proud to say that I am the only Brampton South candidate endorsed by the OSSTF and PEDAL. So those are two of the secondary school unions that have recognized myself as a great candidate that would represent our city well. When it comes to education, the schools are falling apart. Millions of dollars in repair is needed to fix the schools. The schools we're sending our kids to literally are falling apart. So the NDP's plan is to invest into education, make sure the schools are safe and sound structurally, and we're filling the backlog repair. Also, when it comes to the people educating our kids, we send our kids to school to learn in a great environment. The educators and the education workers are stressed, they're upset, they're leaving the profession. We need to make sure we take care of them, take care of our teachers and our educators, who will then take care of the students, because we want them to have the best education possible. And on the higher end, when you're looking for post-secondary, we know that Brampton doesn't have a university. When the Ford government came into power, one of the first things they did was cut and cancel the university formerly called Ryerson. Our plan is to make sure that there is a post-secondary education institute right here in Brampton. Our youth, our young people that live here in Brampton, they deserve to have a great post-secondary education institution right here in the city that they call home, so they don't have to spend hours traveling around. Why doesn't Brampton have a university? Why doesn't Brampton have more hospitals? It's because previous governments have left us behind and not given us our fair share. That's why I'm excited about the NDP and our platform and what we want to do for all the great people in our community. A post-secondary institution right here in Brampton, which helps in education.
Now we're talking about overhauling OHIP and the amount of services you can get under the coverage of OHIP. If you are a resident of Ontario for 6 months, that's something you can use. What is the NDP talking about when it comes to the expanded services under OHIP?
Now this is pretty exciting. So when we talk to people about this, they immediately totally get this. So as I mentioned, my mom has type 2 diabetes, and she takes medication, and some of the medication she needs to take isn't covered. So imagine you're a senior, for all the seniors watching, or you have any sort of condition where you're taking medication. There are times where it's not covered. If you don't have benefits, you are paying out of pocket, into your own pocket. That affects your cost of living and what's affordable. Our plan is we're going to put pharmacare underneath OHIP. So you will no longer have to go out of pocket, dig into your pockets or dig into your purse to pay for any extra medication. So anyone with diabetes, you're paying for test strips currently, you're paying for insulin or insulin pumps. The NDP pharmacare plan will include all of that. Also, there are people living with cancer. Cancer medication will be included because we need to take care of everyone when it comes to their health. And I also want to mention dental care. So my mom, a senior, and my neighbor, older seniors, they don't have benefits. So if they need to go to the dentist to have a procedure or a cavity filled or whatever, they are paying out of pocket, which can get expensive. Or even kids, if they need braces. For all of the parents who have to get braces for their kids, you know how expensive it is. The NDP's plan for dental care also goes under OHIP. So you will no longer have to go out of pocket to pay for this. It will all be taken care of underneath the benefit plan, which is exciting, and a lot of parents and seniors were really happy to hear about that.
We've heard the PC campaign specifically talk about infrastructure, investing in roads, bridges, highways, hospitals, and when it comes to infrastructure for the Liberals, the only thing I recall is investing in building new schools, 200 schools. What is the NDP plan for infrastructure?
Infrastructure is absolutely important, and it is part of our plan as well, because of course you need infrastructure. So we are committed to building 2 more full-service hospitals here. We are committed to building a post-secondary institution right here in Brampton. We also support a satellite medical school in Brampton. Having a medical school here will attract great residents, and well, these are the people that will be able to work at the hospital. Also, we're planning on building 1.5 million homes, because we need homes, and that is all a part of infrastructure. And in terms of homes, it'll be not just detached homes, townhouses, semi-detached homes, affordable housing, because we know the price of real estate has just skyrocketed over the last 4 years, and it's unaffordable for a lot of people to find homes. So infrastructure is important. But what also is important is the human resource. Building all these hospitals is not as effective unless you have people to work there. The nurses are burnt out. They are stressed, they are tired, they're leaving their profession. So we know that Bill 124, which the Ford government brought in, suppresses nurses' wages, nurses and healthcare workers, and it's not right. My sister is a nurse. She works in long-term care and has worked right here in Brampton for over 20 years, taking care of our community in Brampton. And she is seeing on a regular basis her colleagues just burnt out, stressed, and leaving. When that happens, what are we going to do if we don't have any nurses? It is so important that we respect and take care of the nurses that we have in the system, and also retain and bring back and retrain new nurses. So our plan is to hire 10,000 PSWs and 30,000 nurses, because we want a strong and robust healthcare system. That will be there for everyone when we need them.
And affordability is a crisis, if I can say the least about it. I mean, there's inflation's at 6.8%, highest in 31 years. This is the topic about how do we make food more affordable, gas more affordable, just cost of living, everyday expenses. What does the NDP want to do to make life more affordable?
Life is definitely unaffordable right now. So just like everybody else in Brampton, so I drive a car, I go to the gas station, I feel that pinch every time I fill up my car. It hurts because it's so expensive. I go grocery shopping in our local grocery stores in Brampton. Food is expensive, gas is expensive, car insurance, rent, hydro, everything, just like you said, is expensive. We want to put more money in your pocket. By doing things like the universal pharmacare and the universal dentacare, you won't have to pay out of pocket. When it comes to gasoline, we're also going to regulate that as much as possible to bring the cost down. There is no reason that gas spikes up on a Friday or on a long weekend all of a sudden. We're being taken advantage of and we're being gouged. So your government should be looking after you, and that is why I'm so excited to be a part of the NDP party, because this is a party that truly cares for people, everyday working class people. I come from a middle class home. Mom's a retired PSW. My dad was a carpenter. Big family that we take care of each other. We cook, we go shopping, we are good neighbors. And what I want for my family is what I want for your family. To be able to afford the things you need. Send your kids to school. Take care of your grandparents. Just be happy and comfortable, knowing that your government is on your side. The Ford government has failed us. The last 4 years have been awful. There are people having a really hard time, even with wages. We believe everyone should make a good living. Everyone should be able to take care of their needs. And so we are increasing the minimum wage. I've met people going door to door that make minimum wage and are taking care of 2 kids and paying a mortgage. It's very difficult. They have to have 2 jobs. They're stressed, they don't have good benefits, so we need to take care of people. Good jobs with a great wage, making sure there are benefits there for you, and the system is there to take care of you.
As a small business owner and somebody who's in the healthcare profession, what motivated you to get into politics?
You know, when on the sidelines, just watching everything, especially during the pandemic, it was very, very sad and stressful. When I looked at what happened in long-term care, I can't help but think of my grandmother, who I just adored. Those were people's parents. Those were people's grandparents who died because of how we let long-term care operate. We can never let that happen again. When I see some of my colleagues who own businesses that didn't get any funding, no grant relief, no support, no COVID relief, and a lot of the money went to bigger companies that didn't need it as much. It was the small companies, some of which have closed down. So it upset me and gave me the drive to put my name out there, to see if I can help small businesses and help families and help people living with healthcare. We can do much better than what we have now. If we look at the last 4 years, everyone should ask yourself, are you better off? Is your family better off? Are you making more money? Are you saving more money for your family? And then you think of the last 15 years prior to that, we know that healthcare is broken, and it started with the Liberal government. It started with hallway medicine. The Liberals cut 1,600 nurses. Can you imagine 1,600 nurses they just cut? And also 600 schools they closed. These are schools we need to send our kids to. So both governments have failed us. The Liberals have failed us, and the Ford government has failed us. The only party that can beat Doug Ford's government is the NDP. So I'm excited and I'm motivated and I'm inspired, and I want everyone in Brampton to feel the same way too. And just to give you hope, we can do better for you and your kids and your family. I ask that you vote for the NDP on June 2nd. We will take care of our community. I'm not a career politician. I'm excited and I'm ready and I'm energetic to make our community, our home, our neighbors just better off.
For the people that love the NDP plan and may ask you, how is the government, an NDP government, going to be able to pay for this stuff?
Right, that question comes up from time to time, and it's a good question. When it comes to fiscal responsibility and fiscal management, you should ask everybody knocking on your door how they plan on paying for things. So in a few ways, when we look at some of the really big companies that make a lot of money, we're going to be taxing them. Just a little bit, not a lot. But by taxing those really large companies, that is how we're going to have money to build affordable housing, which we need in our community. Everyone deserves a place to live. Housing is a human right. That money will also be used to fund our pharmacare and dental care programs, because if you take care of people who are down here who need some help with their health, it'll help them rise to the top. If we take care of everyone who needs support, we will all rise together. So when it comes to funding it, of course, all good governments need good financial and good fiscal responsibility, and the NDP will definitely be doing that.
Thank you so much for this interview today and sharing this. Do you have any final words for our audience?
I do. So everyone in Brampton South, I am excited. I'm glad you had an opportunity for me to introduce myself. This election is so important. If you have children, if you are a working professional and need to increase your wages and you need benefits, or if you're taking care of a family member, your parents live with you or your grandparents, this election is so important. We need to do so much better when it comes to healthcare. We need to do so much better by your children when it comes to education. Believe in the NDP government that we will be there for you, working together for you, because we are your government. My message to you that on June 2nd, I ask that you vote for me. My name is Andrea Barrett, and I am running in the election to be the MPP in Brampton South.
How can people reach you if they have any questions?
If you have any questions, you can reach me online or by phone. So the website, I'll let you know my email address. So my name is Andrea with an I. It's ANDRIA dot, last name is Barrett, BARRETT at OntarioNDP.ca. Or if you just Google Andrea Barrett, you'll find me. So Andrea with an I. So I hope to hear from you. Feel free to give me a call, send me an email, send me your address. I'll come by with a sign, invite me in for some coffee, tea, or chai. We'll have a conversation. But most importantly, please vote NDP. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. This election is so important to our community. I love Brampton, and we need to get back to the way things were.
Where is your campaign office in case people want to drop by?
Our campaign office is across from Shoppers World, 1 Bartley Bowl Drive. So if everyone knows where the plaza is, Shoppers World, we're right across the street at 1 Bartley Bowl. So you can look us up online. Feel free to come by. I'd love to have a chat and learn more about you and tell you more about myself.
Thank you so much for today and sharing your vision and thoughts for Brampton. This was a Y Media exclusive interview with Andrea Barrett. She is the Brampton South NDP candidate. June 2nd is election day, and if you have any questions or concerns, well, she can be reached at her email and her campaign office. Thank you again. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, take care and be well.